Welcome to another episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill-Staxx, and today I got Stevie Bullets and Bill Crooks. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Back.
Excellent. Hey, it's nice to be on, man.
Yeah, I know. It's first time, man. It's been a while.
Long time coming.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys want to give a little bit of background about who each of you are, and then we'll get into
Yeah, why don't I do it since Stevie, we'll say best for last. Let Stevie go second. Bill Crooks, Partners in Crime. If you haven't seen the show, check it out. You might know me because I'm doing a show on Staxx. I've got 2 parts out. You should check it out. If you think you know Staxx, maybe you don't. Working on the 3rd one right now. A lot of people have been hitting me up asking me when it's coming out. It's we'll get into that a little bit later because I think it kind of ties into the stuff that Steve's doing and stuff. But that's it. Just a regular guy doing a podcast, and hope you check it out. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and a lot of yours is audio, right?
It's all audio.
Yeah, but you're doing some video now, right? Like shows, different shows.
Yeah, well, I'm on. Gunner's gracious enough to have me on his Wednesday show, and of course, I do the radio show with him on Fridays and stuff. But my stuff, I edit so much and stuff. I just do audio, video. You'd probably get 1 show a year out of me.
Hey man, you do a good job. Make sure you guys go check it out. His show is great. I'll put the description. I'll put the link in the description of this video. So, Steve, man, what's up? So,
hey, what's going on?
You want to give a little bit of background about who you are, man, for the people?
So, my name's Steve Roden. They call me Stevie Bullets in the streets. I was raised in Cicero, Illinois. Which is a suburb right in Chicago, El Capone town. That's what most people know Cicero for. My story is a redemption story. I got shot 11 times in the streets. I was out there doing everything from armed robberies, burglaries, stealing cars. Had a horrible drug addiction that I had went through. Was shot twice in my head. 3 times I went to prison. 1 time I got caught up with the feds. Then I started escalating crimes and people that I was involved with, very dangerous people here in Chicago, guys that were running with the Chicago outfit in Cicero. So, I was living a pretty dangerous life. And then, the more that I stayed involved with the type of life that I was living, that's how I ended up with results, going to prison and being shot twice in my head, 11 bullets in my body total.
You could bring that off to the scrapyard, man.
Yeah. And then, I lost 2 of my best friends. Both of them were killed in the streets. One was from a rival gang. The other one was from a police officer. They're in a drug transaction that I was involved with. And, the result was my friend losing his life when he was 21. And then, on top of that, I was involved with shootings. I shot a couple people. Luckily, I'm not sitting in jail for life, doing a life sentence or nothing like that. When I got to, I did this pretty much my entire life from juvenile all the way up to my 30s. I had my first child. I have a 10-year-old son that's autistic. That's what actually changed my life was, my wife having our first child. I got out of prison in 2009. During my last bit, I was on a 6-year sentence. I was fortunate to have a good support system behind me. I had an uncle and an aunt and a family. So they pretty much stood behind me. And for me, they encouraged me, motivated me, and I started the entire time that I was in prison. I was going to college. I was like 1 credit shy of my associate's degree, so I didn't just sit in there and waste my time, and just being around the guys that I was around with. Like I said, I talk about Harry Allman. He was a hitman for a Chicago outfit. So like I ran into guys like him, met them in the prison. And then there were serial killers, and I was actually like a magnet to these people, and it was fascinating to me. And my wife at this time we were dating. She would come down to the joint, whatever prison I was in, I was at that time I was in Galesburg, and you know, like I would tell her, you know, to run certain people's names because you would have an ID in the Illinois system.
And
You'd
see
have an
who they
ID with
are,
your name
right?
on it.
So you can see who
Yeah,
you're dealing
because you
with.
know you want to,
Yeah.
right, or like in my circumstance, I had cellmates. You know, and you got to know what's going on because it could be, you know, all the guys that I, well, I mean, I didn't have a murder, but the guys that I always was in the cell with always had a murder, and you know,
Me too, man.
it was just, yeah, and that's just the way they place you in Illinois. They put you where they have room, and they're overcrowding and stuff like that. So you just end up with anything. You can end up with a child molester, you could end up with a serial killer. But you know, that's what it was I was coming across certain people, and you know, I was drawn to that lifestyle. My uncles, my grandfather, they were part of the 42 gang, which is the Al Capone crew before the Chicago outfit back in the 40s and stuff. So it was kind of like in my DNA. I have Italian descent. My mother's Melody Messina, so my last name. My uncles, like I said, were part of my uncle Mike. He was a driver for the outfit. And then it just kind of went down the bloodline, you know, not to all the family members. Then I had an uncle, so he ran the club in Cicero, which is where I was raised. And, you know, like him coming around and stuff, you always have somebody you look up to. So he was like coming around, nice cars, stuff like that. So
Would
I
he bring you
started
down
seeing
there when you were younger? Would he bring you down there when you were younger and stuff?
No, but
No?
what it was when I seen my uncle with these like Cadillacs, nice cars, you know, I seen a difference. And then my father, you know, he was a Teamster and stuff, and he wasn't involved with organized crime and stuff, but he did his share, and that's part of my story too. It's like I didn't even know a side of my father until I ended up going to jail, and somebody had recognized my name, and they realized that, you know, I was the, you know, because I'm a junior. So my father was involved with some stuff that he, you know, he didn't tell me about, and then I learned about later and stuff. But you know, whatever it was, I was influenced in my life by these people. You know, from my uncles. You know, a couple of them had went to jail, unfortunately, and I had the other uncle that was he was involved with what he always called them the boys. You know, but they were Cicero outfit guys and stuff. And these guys that he introduced me to, you know, they're still out in the streets. But you know, when I was introduced, these were the guys that I thought, you know, I had a lot of respect for, and I looked up to them and stuff. So that's the kind of person I wanted to be. And then, you know,
When he introduced you to him, was that the time that you were around, that you were hanging out with the gang?
Yeah, and I didn't know. And at that time, I didn't know exactly who these guys were until I got older, of course. And you know, that's pretty much how I made my bones in Cicero. And of course, you know, like I said, I was involved with, you know, the streets pretty deep, you know, even with the drugs and stuff like that. So I ran, you know, with a lot of different people and a lot of different, you know, different gangs and stuff. So, you know, that I was just a street guy, you know, and then the older I got, you know, things started escalating. And, you know, that's how I earned my name in the streets. And what it was when I got out in 2009.
Shit, you got like 10 pounds of bullets in you, man. Shit, 11 times. People don't survive that shit, man. People get shot one time.
Are the bullets out, or do you have to walk around the metal detector now?
No, I could go through it. It's lead, so I don't. That they never went off for stuff like that. You know, everybody always thought that they would send off the alarms, but they don't.
I just wonder. Yeah, so some were left in. You had metal left in.
Fragments, yeah. And then I had a couple that had went out, but you know, and they were all bad gunshots. It wasn't like, you know, like they were. Really
you were involved in a bad car accident too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I got out, you know, 7 years ago, I got into a bad car accident, and it almost ended my life. And you know, these things just woke me up. You know,
what happened there? Do you want to explain what happened on the car accident?
Well, I was texting and driving. I was under the influence. at that time, you know, I was out of prison, but you know, I was still going through some things, and you know, one thing led to another, and I ended up waking up inside ICU. I was in a coma, and I wasn't gonna live. It was just, you know, by the grace of God that I made it through. And at that time, I already had 2 children, so it was a wake up call, because when I see the effects that it was doing to my kids, like seeing me in the hospital, I knew that, you know, I had made a mistake, and that, you know, I didn't want to put my kids through that, because I went through. I mean, I didn't have a terrible childhood, but you know, there were some things in my life, you know, that, you know, it made uh, whatever it was, it affected me in certain ways, and you know, I'm not blaming my parents or anything like that, but
it's
you know,
not
I
easy,
went a
man.
different.
It's not easy to stay out of the bullshit once you're trying to stay away from that life. It's not easy,
Right.
man.
What was your childhood like if you compare it to, you know, like from happy days to good times? Where do you fall in?
So I went to a Catholic school, so I wasn't, you know, poor. We weren't rich. I had both my parents, but you know, my father was, you know, he was pretty mean, you know, and you know, when he was abusive. So, like in this, you know, that's how I got that street toughness, was because my father was hands on, and when we made a mistake, you know, it was, you know, even in school, my mom was more lenient and stuff. But they had a rocky marriage and stuff like that, so those things affected me, and you know, they were very strict. You know, they tried to like put rules and regulations on us, and you know, we were really rebellious. So that's how I ended up as a juvenile going a different route. Um, and as soon as I joined the gang, that was it for me. I started with petty crimes, and it just blew up from there. And then once I got to an adult, you know, I was known to both the Cicero and the Berwyn police. Um, I
You want to
wasn't the
explain?
worst
You want
person.
to explain your first case that you caught? Your first major case? You want to explain how it happened? Like,
Uh, well, my juvenile stuff, I was doing residential burglaries, stealing cars, and I, I was involved, like I said, with shootings. I had shot a couple people. I luckily escaped those charges, you know, through like loopholes in the law.
And how
So
old are you
that's
at
when
this
the
point?
police, uh, 13, 14.
Yeah.
You know, I remember shooting people at that age, you know, when I was a juvenile. Um, and
were other people like setting you up to do this stuff, or were you doing it on your own, like with the group,
I was doing it on
or
my
were
own.
they?
I was Because the guys that I grew up with, they were, they were pretty tough, man. They were hardcore Italian guys mostly. You know, we had different races, you know, Latino and stuff like that. But it was mostly Italian Dago guys from the neighborhood that had, and these guys were like uh the same structure as the outfit, the mob, stuff like that. So like when you made a mistake, you knew you were in trouble. And these guys, you know, like I said, they're pretty hardcore. I remember taking a lot of ass whoopings, you know, when I was a kid. That's what it was these older guys. When I made mistakes, they didn't hesitate to break my nose and kick my ass. And, you know, by going through those things, it just made me more tougher, you know, because it was like, you know, once I went through that, there wasn't, you know, I don't have too many problems with people, you know. I'm not the toughest guy. I mean, but I could throw hands and stuff like that.
Well, you're
And
13, hanging around with like 20-year-olds, shit, right?
yeah, I
You know,
tried
and it's
to.
funny
I
too,
tried
because
like
to.
having done Staxx's story, the parallels between you two are impossible to miss. I mean, it's like the same kid growing up in a different town.
Maybe that's why we
yeah.
clicked too. You know what I mean? And then I got approached, like once I was in prison, I started writing a book, and then I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I didn't have any money like that, and I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And my wife had told me I should do it because, like I said, my wife, when I met my wife, she stood by me through my last bit when I got out. I made a decision. I knew when I was in prison when I met her that that's who I wanted to be with. I was kind of tired of the streets. I was ready to settle down. Now we've been married, 14 years. We got 3 children. My one son is 10 years old. He has autism. Love him to death, and he's doing very good. So it's not like that was a bad thing. It was a good thing. And I married into my wife, you know, her family was law enforcement. So they were total opposite of like what I was involved with. But
it's like getting thrown to the lion's den, man.
Well,
so your wife was
we had
with
such
Gia,
bad-
right? Did we
Yes.
see her once before? Yeah. So her
Yeah,
dad's
she
a cop.
comes
What
on.
do they think about her being in love with some guy that's writing her from prison?
They hated it. They hated it. Well, no, her father's not a cop, but
Okay.
he was my wife's 100% Italian. Her parents are both Italian. Her dad was a Taylor Street guy from Chicago, really respected. He wasn't in the outfit and stuff, but he was well known and stuff. He was a pretty tough guy. So, you know, a lot of people were watching me when I started dating her, and they knew what I was involved with. So, and her sister. So her sister, she's in the court system. She's married to a police officer. You know, so it was like there was a lot. Yeah.
How did you meet your wife? How did you meet your wife, Steve?
I met her through my sister. I met her the first night that I got out of prison in 2006. You know, I just came fresh off the bus from Vandalia Prison in Illinois. My first bit,
Her family was probably like, they were probably like, what can we do to stop this? Right?
Yeah.
Well, she didn't know who you were right away, right?
Yeah, because people, like I said, I was known in the town. So as soon as they got wind of her being with me, they, of course, were happy with it. But you know, things turned around for me because her family loves me. They support me 100%. If it wasn't for, you know, my brother-in-law, you know, and he's a police officer. So when he reached out and, you know, he's when she was pregnant, he's like, well, you want a job? And I'm like, sure. You know, he goes, I'll get you a job. He goes, it's just sweeping floors in a warehouse. And I was like, look, you get me a job, I'll work. I'm not lazy. I'm not a bum. I'm going to take care of my kid. I don't want to be a deadbeat dad. So, you know, it was a wake up because I was looking forward to, you know, like I said, I knew what I wanted. So when my wife got pregnant, you know, I was ecstatic. So I got my first job that was legit, working at a produce company in Chicago. That's pretty much where I got my foot in the door with the Teamsters Union 703. Like I said, these guys, they had my back 100%, man. And luckily, you know, these guys were, you know, they believed in me. And now I've been working with the Teamsters Union 703 for 10 years. I work 6 days a week at a great company in Chicago. So
how long has it been since you've been out of prison? How long
10 years. I've been out
10. So you got the job right when you got out?
No. I got out of prison in 2009. I went through a halfway house Gateway Foundation on the north side of Chicago. Wasn't happy about that, but I went through that little process. Yeah, I did 90 days or something like that. But it was good because I had to get on my feet, start all over. And I didn't
but you could tell that you really went through the process, man. You're still changing. Like it's not easy to wake up one day and say I'm gonna be a normal person. I'm gonna just
and
like it really isn't.
Still, every day I want to change because I know there's things that I still need to change. It's just that, you know, maybe because I'm older, I'm 42, that, you know, I woke up. It took me longer than most people, but, you know, I'm still here. I'm still alive. And,
me too, man.
You know,
I'm still in the process.
Especially. Yeah, my kids and my wife especially, because, like I said, her family embraced me as soon as I got out. They weren't happy about it, but when they realized that, you know, we were going to be together, and she ended up pregnant with our first child, it was like they supported me. I mean, they offered me the chance, and as soon as I got my foot in the door, I was sweeping floors for 3 years at this company. So it was, you know, nothing big, but, you know, I came every single day, never missed. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years. And then, you know, that's what I said. I moved up and went to a different company, and these guys gave me an opportunity. From there, I got involved with Teamsters Union 703, and those guys had my back ever since, you know. So it's like, as long as you got people in the neighborhood that believe in you. So I started doing a documentary with the producers, James Forney and Joe Seifert. Joe Seifert was a victim. His father was killed by a Chicago outfit, Joey the Clown Lombardo. He had wrote a book. So when I first had seen these guys on Facebook, I was kind of skeptical about getting involved with them. But they reached out to me. I talked to Joe Seifert, and these were real solid guys. And we met one-on-one. They agreed to do a contract with me for, a documentary, which, I don't know exactly when it's going to be coming out because, like I said, they're doing a lot of editing. They got some projects going on. And it's a slow process, but we're slowly getting there. It's going to be coming out soon. They have, Joe Seifert has a book called Deadly Associates. If you haven't checked it out, he's got it out. Then he's also doing a movie about his story, his life. And then there's a couple other big guys that these producers are working with. James Forney is a great guy. He did a documentary on Britney Spears in 2001 called Stages. Then he has a bunch of other stuff. And at first, like when I had met him, I was skeptical because, you hear these, scammers and stuff like that. But that was the best part of the meeting these guys was once we met and they met my family and stuff, we had a real good connection. And, me being a street guy, like, I'm always on the, like, you're like on
guard. You're on guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Everybody's suspect. But no, they were totally agreed with me about certain things. We don't want to, I'm not going to get anywhere by like putting light on somebody else's, misery and stuff like that, or blasting somebody out there publicly. We've been pretty good about the boundaries that we set. Like I said, there's certain names and places and stuff that it's okay to talk about because it's history, and most of these people are either deceased and stuff like that. My uncle, he's 78 years old. So like when we go into my documentary, we were doing stories about, his days, and you get a lot of outfit guys that would come in there. And even in Chicago, some of these older outfit guys, they talk publicly in these podcasts about, stuff that they did,
Do you think there's a lot of guys active out there still in Chicago?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. A
lot more than New York, probably, right?
Yeah. Chicago's very organized. Yeah, but see, the thing is like the guys that you see like in the newspapers and stuff like that. I mean, it may be some truth to it, but most of it, the guys you probably never even heard of their names. They're very secretive about what they do. They don't expose themselves like that. They definitely don't go on podcasts and stuff like that. The guys that are doing very
they don't say what they're gonna do next week, man.
No, and they don't run like back in the days like that. They small factions and their street crews. Like I said, you got Cicero crew, you got the 26th Street crew, Elmwood Park. You got different crews, different guys. But let me tell you, they're still there. They're not like in the streets, committing like Miami Vice, like murders in the streets like that. But, you make a mistake, they will come for you, and, it could cost you your life. That's why I pretty much stay in the boundaries. I bounce stuff off the streets about what I'm going to talk about. They know, I know who's who, because like I said, in my neighborhood, it was very common that your uncle or grandfather or somebody was involved with the outfit. That doesn't mean the entire family is a mafia and stuff like that. But, pretty much everybody in Cicero had some type of link to the Chicago outfit, which is the mafia. And, it's just part of history. Cicero is known for a lot of corruption. Recently, no, but, back in the days, it was, very, very, well known that, Cicero was corrupt.
Yeah, it was controlled by Al Capone, right? That all the voting.
But even
stuff.
up into like the 90s, you had the mayor ended up, she went and did prison time federally because she was involved with, outfit guys and stuff like that.
Oh, she went to prison? The woman?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear all that.
Mayor. Yeah.
Well, in my impression of Chicago and Cicero and stuff, if you look at it now, it looks like the sad product of decades of corruption, Like, how would you compare it now to when you were growing up?
Well, now, there's a lot more eyes in the streets, and people are, you have a lot more like internet stuff. So they're pretty clean these days. I'm sure there's always going to be corruption, but it's not like it used to be. Put it that
Oh, I'm
way.
sure they're not all the way clean, man. They're taking.
Well, yeah, well, I'm
they're
talking about
taking
just the general
bribes.
vibe of the city. Like, it seems like I'm in Indianapolis, so I'm not too far from you. It seems like they're just gunning people down in Chicago left and right. We got our east side and our own problems, but we always point to Chicago like, hey, at least we're not Chicago, right?
Philly, man, Philly's getting really bad now.
Yes,
terrible.
That's the problem is, it's all a political thing, and I don't want to get too deep into the politics of it because I don't know much about it, but I know it's a lot about politics here. And, that's why you could pretty much do whatever you want here in Chicago, and you're seeing like the murders and stuff like that. And that was another thing was, the more that I got involved with the streets and I started seeing people die. Like I said, 2 of my best friends had died in the streets. And then I was doing, prison time. And then I was addicted to drugs, and just being addicted to drugs, you see all these horrible things and, stuff.
Did you go to rehab and all that?
Yeah, but I mean, none of that stuff worked. I'm not into AA or NA. I don't, I'm not, I don't drink or anything like that no more because I'm just working all the time and I got my kids. So yeah. I was lucky enough to kick my habit kind of cold turkey. First it was cigarettes and then it was alcohol. And, I was involved with all kinds of drugs. So it was like, there wasn't one specific thing. It was like everything and anything.
Yeah.
And that's how, my mind was getting so scrambled because at the age of 13, when I started getting involved with drugs and the gangs, my mind wasn't thinking right. And like I said, I was infatuated by criminals and serial killers, and it was like a magnet. I was drawn to this stuff, and
yeah, it's like you get to prison and you think that's the next step you have to get to. That's how it was for me too, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was in isolation. I was in isolation for 11 months, and it was like my mind was just going crazy, and I started reading, I was really deep into like true crime books, serial killers and stuff like that. And I loved it. It was like, I could sit there and just read it over and over. And, my mind was in a dark place, really dark place. And then I started coming across, like these guys in prison, they have, they like unspeakable crimes. I meet these guys, cutting heads off.
I was with some people that did some pretty horrible shit, man.
Right. And it was normal to me. It was normal to me. And I was infatuated with this stuff. And whatever it was that, maybe it was because I had an uncle and aunt that were, they were Christians and stuff. And I mean, I wasn't a holy roller, but I do, I believe in a God. And when they started like sending me the mail, at first I wasn't paying attention to it. Then, my uncle, he was one that was sending me money to finance me, to pay for like commissary. So for me to get this stuff, I'd have to read these books, and he wanted to know something about what I was reading, and I don't want to lie to him. So I took the time out and I read these books. They were motivational books. Thought they were stupid at first, but they started making sense. So yeah, and what it was luckily I had picked up the book, because I was just bored out of my mind. I was in SAG and all kinds of shit. So it was like when I started taking the time,
you only read the Bible so many times, man, right?
Yeah. So I started reading. They started making sense, and from then I think it was the seed was planted, and then of course as soon as I got out, I met my wife, and love will change you. So for me, when I met her, it was like instant, and I ended up going back to jail like right after I met her. I ended up getting
that had to
6
suck,
years.
man. That had to be
Oh man, it killed me because I was finally happy. I thought we were going to be together, and bam.
So why'd you go back to jail?
I was in Cicero. Like I said, I was going through a drug addiction. I was in with a stolen vehicle. Took him on a little chase. Went on the expressway.
After you got, hold on. Rewind.
I got out. So I got out.
Got out. Were you on parole?
No, I was just on
probation?
parole. I was on parole.
So what the hell? possessed you to get in a stolen car, bro?
Well, that I don't even remember how that all went, but yeah, that's how it ended. But like I said,
Were you
when I
like
got
blacked out or something? You don't even remember how it happened?
no, I mean I was under the influence of different substances, and it's just this is over 10 years ago,
You're
so
like, just one of those things.
Well, hey, Stax,
yeah,
you were already
yeah,
going to
I
do
mean,
time, and you wanted a hell of a little spree yourself, man.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, it was.
And a
well,
stolen
this is
car was part of it.
Yeah,
well,
stolen car.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but I didn't
He
just
did
get out of
the
prison.
same shit, man.
Oh wait, yeah, I did.
well,
It
yeah,
was-
I mean, it,
yeah.
it could have been a lot worse, because I had hit a couple of. Luckily, none of the police got hurt or anything like that, so I didn't get no aggravated batteries or attempt murders or nothing. But
How long
it
did
looked
you
pretty
have to
bad.
do?
And
How long did you
I
have
got a
to do
6 year
for that?
sentence. I took a plea, like I got a 6 year sentence because
So your
I've
wife
been
waited
involved
for
with it.
6 years for you to come back out?
No. So what it was on a 6 year sentence, you do 2.5. So I took that. I took the plea bargain right away. I already knew what I was facing. I already knew what I was going to do. Like I said, her sister was the clerk in the case. So that was the humiliating part, was that, here I am dating this girl and now I'm going to prison and it's in front of her sister. So what happened was I get my sentence, I'm writing her pretty much on a daily basis, every single day for about 2 years.
Because you're like, don't leave, right?
Yeah,
you're like, don't. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't really that. It was just that, I had burned all my bridges and stuff, and I finally was happy, and I knew what I wanted right then, so I started writing her letters on a daily basis, about changing, and I just planted a seed. I'm sure she didn't believe it, thought I was full of shit, and then she started
when you would go to jail before, would you be involved with all the bullshit in jail, like just doing? Because I know how hard it is to be in prison and try to do the right thing.
So yeah, I was institutionalized, and what it was as soon as I walk into the jail, I knew the lingo, I knew where to go, I knew who to go with, I knew how to roll, and I could get in the prison system. And I still talk to a couple of those guys, so they know, like when I do my speaking and stuff, I don't go on here and lie and bullshit, make myself bigger than I was. I wasn't the gang leader. But I definitely took care of myself, when I was in the joint and in the streets. I handled business. I took my ass whooping, so it wasn't like I didn't ever get my ass whooped or nothing like that. But
I took mine too.
But I mean,
over and over.
I still walk around the neighborhood. I'm well known. Nobody gives me problems. I'm respected. Even with the police, once I got out of prison, I changed my life. They seen I was on the right path. Despite there was a lot of animosity between me and the police because, for a long time they wanted to kill me. They ended up killing my friend or whatever happened. I'm not saying that it was the police officer's fault. I was involved in a drug transaction. I wasn't there when the kid got shot, but he got shot in the back. There was no gun recovered at the scene.
That's crazy, man.
But whatever the
you shot him in the back. Didn't the cop get in trouble for that, right?
I don't think so. I mean, he might have got put on leave, and it was unfortunate because I knew the police officer that was involved, and he wasn't a bad guy. We were friends at one time, and it was just I became a gang member and he became a cop. Whatever happened that day, I'm sure. There was a lot of things that were going on, and maybe he was in fear for his life, and maybe the guy he did have a gun. I don't know, just know what I've been told, and I know that my friend ended up dying. So the circumstances in between, not going to speculate, and it's not say it was their fault or anybody's fault. I took responsibility for what I was involved with. It was a drug transaction, and I ran, and the result was my friend lost his life. The other police officer, probably changed his life forever. So, at that time I didn't care, but the older I got, I started, it always impacts me because, I got to live with that for the rest of my life. Now I got my own kids. So, you know, my story is pretty much a redemption story because of like everything that I went through with the drugs and prison. I could have been a horrible person and came out, hating everybody and stuff. But there were people from the neighborhood that believed in me. So like when I got out, they started supporting me. Uh, and even the cops, they don't hate me. A lot of them give me respect. I had a police
They hate
officer
me,
that knew me
man.
since I was.
They hate me still.
Well, this is it. For a long time, I used to say, fuck the police. The police ain't shit. But then when I seen, these riots happening and, I seen there's a lot of good cops too. People don't realize that. And then, of course, my family, and those were the first people that put their hand out to give me a hand, and it was just a job working in a factory. But
before, man, I used to be like, fuck you, blah, 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 if they would pull me over. Now I'm just like, I don't say nothing. I got nothing to say. Man,
I used to be the same way with the police. Like I blamed them for everything up until
I give them attitude
really
problem. I used to be the same way,
recently,
man.
And I realized, I matured and stuff like that, and I realized that can't blame the police for everything, and we can only control our actions. So we got to think about what part we play, because whatever we do, our actions are gonna dictate what happens later on. Like
I don't blame no one for my actions now. And now when I get to another threshold of success, I have no one but to blame but myself, or if I fail for it, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I can tell you though, it's funny when you get older, the police get nicer, Like you, when I was a kid, if I got pulled over, I'm going to the pokey, at least for the night. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now I could have a body in the back seat, and they're like, "Look, sir, you need to get home and bury that thing. We're going to let you a warning this time. It doesn't matter what I do. They like me and they let me go, man."
Yeah, they know I'm. My days are over. They see me with the kids, and they're like, that's all I'm about.
I think they're still a little suspicious of me, man. they don't know.
They're always like,
I can't help it, man. I can't wash this shit off. Shit don't wash off.
No, but like I said, there were a lot of cops that were fair too, and some of them I even grew up and went to school with. So like, I know there's good cops and bad cops, and like I said, you need somebody to have some kind of like run of these streets, because back in the days you had the outfit guys, and they pretty much. But nowadays it's either the police or nothing. You don't want these guys carjacking your wife or your girlfriend and stuff like that. So you got they got to do their job just like everybody else.
Shout out to Damien. Damien saying what's up to everybody.
And I've been doing a lot of social networking and stuff like that, tuning with people. Cyril DePaggio, shout out to Cyril DePaggio. They call him the Mob King down in Miami. Great guy. We got a fantastic story between me and him. Yep, that's my man right there.
Shout out to Cyril.
Man, this guy's got some great stuff. You guys like gangster stuff like that? This guy's got some really good stuff. You'll love it.
I don't know Cyril, but his name comes up all the time.
Oh, man, fantastic guy. So
when he gets time, I'm going to try to get him on here when he has time, man.
Oh,
he's a busy guy.
So look, me and Cyril, at first, when I met the guy, he's got 1 million fans, all over the world and stuff like that. I tried to introduce myself, but he gets that every day. So what it was, we had some personal stuff. Cyril had a little issue that I was able to handle civilly here in Chicago. It's just a misunderstanding, but me being from the streets and stuff like that, I had my reach with a certain individual. Turned out great. Cyril DePaggio being a loyal guy and stuff like that. In return, been a very loyal friend of mine. We've been friends ever since. And it's fantastic because we just got off a video chat together. Guy is great. My wife and his wife were just speaking. his kids. I show him, you know, and it's awesome to have guys like that, you know, all around, you know, the country. And like I said, you know, me meeting Staxx, you know, on the social network, meeting you, discussing our stories and stuff like that. I think it's great, you know, and hopefully, like I said, with my documentary, I got my Facebook page if anybody wants to check it out. It's Steve Roden, and I got a page about my documentary called My Way, the Cicero Way, the Stevie Bullet Story. I'll invite you to the page. You can see certain clips. I got a trailer, and I'm just slowly putting stuff together. Yeah, I mean, it's great. And like I said, you know, it's a true story about my life. I was very deep in the streets, everything from outfit, cartel, you know. I wasn't a kingpin or anything like that, but you know, I had shot people. I was involved with some very serious crimes. I got involved with the federal system. So like I was really deep, and guys like me are not supposed to be, you know, out
You're
for
not
either.
supposed to make it and retire, man. You're supposed to be in prison or dead.
Yeah, the odds for me, the odds were against me. Wasn't looking good. My father had a discussion with me about, you know, he was, you know, the possibility of me being dead. It was, you know, it was, they were ready, you know, they just wanted to prepare for a funeral and wake in case that had happened because, you know, they seen what I was doing. My dad and mom, they used to find guns. They found shotguns, all kinds of guns in the house.
My mother used to find holsters and shit. She never found the guns.
Oh,
she
no.
used to find holsters and bullets.
You know, yeah, and I mean, there was one incident where I was involved in a shooting, and it was like right outside of my house, maybe a block away. And I had pulled out a gun and started firing, and I was trying to kill a rival gang member. And my dad got wind of it right away. And when I came running back into the house, my dad, you know, starts frisking me, and I have a gun on me, and he's ready to kill me. And he's like, "Did you just shoot at somebody?" And I'm looking at him, you know, and I'm like, "No, you know, because like I know my dad's he's gonna kill me." And yeah, and he didn't want to search me because I know that if he would have found the gun, he probably would have killed me. So he didn't, and he was like, "Well, I think you're gonna be going to jail because there was a female that was in the car." You know, and like I said, when I was firing that gun, I could have killed him, I could have killed her, and I was shooting to kill, you know, because these guys had jumped out on me. And in retaliation,
they were trying to kill you, man. Look how many times you got shot.
They beat me up.
Bullets.
Yeah, so you know, they were, and I was beefing with these guys. So it was like I was with my brother, I pull out the gun, start firing, and this was like all the time with me, you know. I had shot several different people. You know, I'm not going to admit to any murders, nothing like that. But, you know, I definitely shot people. And, you know, I did.
Yeah, don't do that on my show.
No.
Like, you bring up a good point, though. When you're doing your doc and stuff, it is a dance, you know, when you're trying to tell a good story and not tell it too well. Like, I'm kind of going through that with Staxx Part 3 right now. We got some nasty shit on this one. On many levels, you know, there's guys that I don't want to get Staxx killed and tell the story too well, but I want to get it across. And there's other parts of it that are so dark and disturbing, but they're involve people he loves. So, you know, it's hard to tell that story well and still maintain privacy and maintain legality, and it gets tough.
Yeah, it gets tough. You know, like I said, when I first started doing my documentary,
otherwise Part 3 would be out already. Sorry,
you're right. It'd be out.
No, and the other thing is, you know, I pretty much want to promote my neighborhood. You know, even though I did a lot of dirt in the streets, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the police's fault. I could blame them all day for everything about me going to jail, and they were harassing me. You know, and I mean, yeah, there was some truth to that, but it is what it is. Trying to move on with my life now.
Shout out Kent Street TV.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Shout out to Yankees, man. Good to see you.
Yankees for life, man.
And
a lot of these people are the same people that are in other chat rooms, man. They just jump around, see big things. The 13 people, you're damn right, man. These are the 13 people I want here. The other people, they can stay wherever the hell they're at. I'm good with these people right here. But you could kick rocks, Blue Eyes. Peace out.
So
shout out to Elizabeth Coppola.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, these are all people that run with Cyril and stuff. Like I said, he's got a good fan base. And we've just been connecting. I've been connecting with a lot of different people here in Chicago. Like I said, James Forney and Joel Seaver, great guys. They got a lot of.
I reached out to Joey. I'm trying to get him on here. So
Joel Seaver,
get his story.
That's a hell of a man. His father was unfortunately killed by Joey the Clown Lombardo. But it's a part of the history, and he tells the story. Like I said, I know Joe personally, and if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be doing a documentary. And I was skeptical because I didn't know,
He pushed you in. He pushed you in that direction.
Yeah, he did. Mike McCollum, he doesn't do Facebook anymore. He was one of the guys too. So shout out to Mike McCollum. He, and it was
Mike's
different
good dude, man.
Yeah, Mike's he's rough. So Mike McCollum is a Hell's Angel.
No, ex-Hell's Angel.
Yeah, right.
He's an ex-Hell.
Yeah,
there's a big difference.
I don't want to have a bunch of backlash about that, But like I said, he did. I got to say what it is. The guy, he did put me in tune with certain people. We don't talk every single day. Mike's got his own thing going on right now. So for the meantime, I got to do my story and focus on my family. I don't really like to get too close with anybody because, I don't know everything about everybody. Everybody's got two sides. So, me being with my 3 children and my wife, I don't put them in a place where, anything could come and backfire at them. So, like I said, when I do my podcast, stuff like that, keep it pretty respectable. I don't like to cast limelight on anybody. Try to respect pretty much everybody. But, I'm not afraid of anybody. So I'll tell you like it is and keep it real. But like I said, nowadays what I promote is, taking care of my family, getting, working every day, being a man.
Me too, man. Like people want to talk shit about how many viewers I got, man. I'd rather have 15 loyal viewers than 150 people watching a circus, because that's what they watch all day. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
a bunch of nothing.
You get a lot more than 13 viewers on the regular.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, I do, man. It's
949.
Probably, I don't know.
You got nothing to worry about.
You can look at a person and see what they have, in their life, and not just material things, but like what type of person they are, personality, who they're surrounded by, and that pretty much tells you what type of person they are. So if you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that out there. But like I said, I had a good foundation. I came from, a good family pretty much.
And that's why you're making it, man. If you didn't have that, I think it would probably be a lot rockier for you,
Well, yeah, and I, when I went to grade school, I went to a Catholic school, so I was raised right. I just chose a different route, to be more rebellious like other people, and then from there, drugs and stuff started to distort my thinking, and like I said, my mind was just in the wrong place, and when I realized that wasn't normal and stuff, to be around like serial killers and because we all know that when you get older and stuff, that loyalty that you think with the gang life, and that these guys are got your back. I seen the guys with most tattoos all over their face, and those are guys you think that's the life and that's what it's about, and then you realize, man, that brotherhood only goes so far. And most of those guys, once they get to a certain age, that shit's out the door. It's all about yourself. Yeah. I mean, that's honestly how it gets down, because I've seen even once they get to a certain age, they don't care about anybody. That gang shit is out the door. And it's even the leaders of most of these gangs that, once they realize that there ain't nothing left, they're on their own. Not saying they sell out anybody else, but they realize that it ain't like what they thought it was. And at that point, it's already too late,
And mainly older people telling all these younger people what to do. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a control thing. And, these kids nowadays, they don't have, they just they come from broken homes. You know, they don't have you know, intelligence. You know, they're not educated, and then they go to the streets and they get involved with the streets, and then you know I lost one of my homies, man, young kid, young age, and you know it's just the odds were stacked against them, and once you're involved with that life and your family's involved in it, you know that's the results, you know, and that's a couple of my friends. You know, like I said, I seen death on a regular basis. It was like a normal thing to me, going to wakes and funerals. And you know,
my mom always said if I died back then when I was rolling with the gangs and shit, she said if I died back then, she wouldn't have let any of them come into my funeral. She said
right.
she didn't want nothing to do with any of them.
No, my dad hated that part of my life. You know what I mean? He just despised it, and you know, that's why I always still keep the Playboy bunny and stuff, because that was our symbol. But
I wondered about that.
So that was a part of my life. I got it tattooed in my.
You were wondering about that?
So,
yeah, when I first saw Stevie in a Playboy bunny, I go, maybe I got this wrong.
No. So what it is a part of my documentary. The Playboy bunny symbolizes part of my life that I was, you know, I had a lot of love for. I still do, and it's something that I struggle to break away from, because these are guys that I went through a lot of stuff with, and I consider them my friends. So it was like blood brother relationship, and you know, now, you know, pretty much I try to talk to a couple of the guys, the fellas, 12th Street players. I got much love for them. I'll offer a job, try to send them in the right direction. You know, if those guys choose to stay in the streets, I respect that, you know, but I don't want to, you know, I'll cut ties pretty much with those people, because, you know, I don't want to see any of these guys die or get these life sentences. And I see it all the time. I already know what's going to happen when I meet these new guys that are getting involved in stuff, you know, but I can't sit there and tell them, hey, don't do that. And, you know, do that preaching stuff and tell them not to do it. That's not what I'm about, you know, because they
don't listen to that shit anyway, man.
Right. You know, motivational speaking. I mean, I'm never going to tell a kid,
do what you're doing, man. Do the right thing. And people will follow.
So for me, you know, I don't preach anything. I try tell my story the way it is, keep it real. Like I said, I know what's in my heart. I'm not the same person that I used to be. And, you know, because I'm surrounded by good people, they keep my head in the right place. And that's why I'm able to be successful in life. You know, I wouldn't be able to stay out of prison if I was still, you know, thinking the same way that I used to about, you know, thinking that stuff was normal and that stuff was cool. And, you know, people that, you know, had no loyalty to me, you know, I was loyal to the wrong people for a long time.
Yeah, you got loyalty, and these dudes aren't even loyal to you, and you're showing loyalty to them.
And I was doing real serious stuff, and it was like, in return, nothing back. And
they just throw you under the bus.
Yeah. And that was like, even with the police, I was so involved with the police that these police would see me 3-4 times a week inside the police station, that some of them got to be friends with me and some of them hated me. And they were like, you know, I grew a bond. So it was like, you know, I got involved with some deep stuff with the police too, you know, where we were running neck and neck with some certain stuff that were pretty deep. And it was like, you know, when it came to my end of the, you know, whatever I was going to, my chop, you know, I got burned. And I was really pissed about that, because here I am, you know, doing all the dirty work, and then here I get cut out of my shit. So when I started doing my documentary, you know, I never exposed those police officers. They know who they were. They know who they are. You know, they screwed me on my end, but, you know, as long as I get to do my story, we're all good. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to expose anybody, but that's how deep that I was in the street.
Expose them all, man.
No. I'm not gonna do that. Because
I like your take on it, man. I think you're gonna go far. I think you got it right on the button, man.
Yeah, I mean, because I look at the way I look at it is, I could have ended up dead or in prison for my life. and I'm still walking. I'm free. So, it is what it is. That bygones be bygones. You know, they've seen me. We've seen eye to eye, so it's not like, anybody's hiding. But, it is what it is.
So, do you got any plans for the there's no date for the documentary of anything?
No, because what it is we're doing bits and pieces. They got
Damn, what the hell was that?
It's just like notices that are coming in. So
yeah, man, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, because I gotta work tomorrow and stuff like that. Get the kids in bed. But pretty much, it should be anywhere from 6 months to a year. There's a true crime agent doing a book on it. His name is Chip McGregor. So there is a book with the documentary that's being made right in the process, and I mean things are going great. It's a long process and stuff, slow process, but like I said, the producer James Forney is very professional, got a lot of experience in this, and I got a lot of confidence in him and Joe Seifert. And I've already seen bits and pieces of Joe's documentary. It was great, fantastic, and I think people are gonna like it. And we continue to network with people on social media, doing these podcasts, stuff like that, because people like these type of stories,
Yeah,
and
man.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like you're saying, like I wasn't a big gangster and stuff. And some people, there's always that guy that's like, he's nobody, and I kind of roll my eyes. It's the stories that you guys have are so good. And like I said, if you haven't heard Staxx's, go back and listen to mine. The third will blow your mind.
Listen,
and Staxx never claimed to be the capo of anything, If your story's better than his, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, everybody's got a story, you know what I mean? But my name wouldn't be Stevie Bullets if I wasn't doing something.
If you didn't have 11
we'll leave it at that.
holes in you.
They call me Stevie Bullets, and I'm from Cicero, and I'm here. So,
and I'm Staxx, and I'm from Bristol, and I'll beat your ass if you talk shit about me. Man, all that gangster shit is over with. I'm trying to be a normal dude, man. I just want to live a normal life, and that's it. I don't want to be a gangster no more, man.
Yeah, nobody's got respect for punks, man.
Salute to Ireland.
Yeah, man.
But
good watched in Ireland, man. What do you want?
I appreciate all of you guys. So what do you got in for the future, Mr. William Crooks?
In the middle of year 3, and I also did the Black Hand with our buddy Oldfield.
Yeah.
Dude,
I gotta get Oldfield on. I've been waiting.
You gotta get him on now. I'm done with him, so he's all yours.
But
I'm not done with him. But our show's done.
Well, he's coming up this week, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be really good.
The guy is a natural, man. I tell you, my wife won't even let me get on the phone with him unless I plan it ahead of time, because she knows I'll be on for 2 hours. The guy can tell a story with so many facts and details that he's just the most fascinating guy, man. He's a great guy.
Shout out to Real Mob Radio, Steve. Yeah, man. So thank you guys for joining me, man. I really appreciate both of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put your the links for you guys and stuff in the description.
It's called Stevie Bullets 12, so you can check me out on social media there, TikTok and Facebook, Steve Roden. And then I'll invite you to my page, My Way, the Cicero Way. Doing a documentary with James Forney and Joe Seifert. And check out Cyril DiPaggio, my king.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Brandon. Happy birthday to Brandon. And make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop.